So remember in genus Pastorella, we have the species Moltocida, which affects many uh, animal hosts, no? Yung pinaka-notable is the hemorrhagic septicemia in cattle and carabaos, Philippine carabaos. And then we also have fowl cholera. And then you have your Ornithobacterium. There's only one species, Rhinotracheale. Then we discussed Bordetella. Important species is Bronchis that causes kennel cough and your atrophic rhinitis. And then last Monday, we also were able to discuss Moraxella, Riberella, and Actinobacillus. So for Moraxella, dalawa lang naman yung species. There's Bovis and Bovoculi. Rimerella, there's only one species. It's Anatipestifer. That one is, do you recall anong animal yung affected with Rimerella? Let's review. What animal is infected with Rimerella? Anatipestifer. Chat. Yes, okay. Someone's answered poultry, very general yun. So it specifically affects ducks, okay? And then your Moraxella. Ano yung host ng Moraxella? Remember we did staging. Ano yung animal affected, right? So large ruminant, specifically cattle. Uh, do you recall the disease that it causes? Moraxella bovis. What disease does Moraxella cause? Yeah, pink eye, conjunctivitis, question mark, specifically infectious bovine kerato conjunctivitis. Okay. Then we have Actinobacillus. So for Actinobacillus, there's a number of um, species that is important. So yung Ligneresi for cattle and your Pleuropneumoniae, APP, in pigs, diba? So that's Actinobacillus. And then today we'll discuss Streptobacillus and Francisella. So we only have two topics for today. I think we'll be able to finish early and then we can have question and answer for the rest of the time. Mm, then we have reading break. So this part will be topics included in the second long exam that will be on November 10 and it will be partially my the exam will be um my part and Dr. Alicia Reyes part. Okay. So November 10, that's the second long exam. Okay? And then for tomorrow, we have a lab exam. It's our first lab exam tomorrow. So, if you have any questions there, you can let me know. Pero I think medyo naayos na or na-organize na naman ni Doc Gian. For tomorrow's lab exam, included din po yung exercise on specimen collection. Yes, I may ask some questions regarding the exercise on specimen collection. You were provided naman with the material for pre-lab, so um, yes, it's included. Okay, so if later you can ask more questions, but for now, let's begin the lecture. So the first topic for today is Streptobacillus. This bacteria, it is a zoonotic disease, no? So it affects the humans, and then its reservoir is the rodents, no? And this bacteria is gram-negative. The morphology is long rods, no? So in humans, they can look like um, small lesions, no, but uh, they can worsen eventually. Here's another gram stain of the bacteria. So they do appear somewhat in chains, no. So your streptobacillus is the causative agent of rat bite fever. The species is your moniliformis. There's another name for it, which is Spirillum minus. And then it is considered as non-motile and gram-negative pleomorphic rods. They grow in long beaded filaments, just like what we saw earlier, with knobby irregularities. No? So if we look at the other photo, no, so parang meron siyang part na knobby, or I guess parang irregular yung pagka-rod niya. No? And then this requires blood or serum enriched media for growth, and the colonies appear as gray mucoid cotton ball colonies. It's considered as a facultative anaerobe. Hold on, there's a lot of people in the waiting room. Okay, so it's considered as a facultative anaerobe, oxidase, catalase negative, and it ferments glucose and carbohydrates. It's often susceptible to antibiotics, so important thing is the correct diagnosis and treatment. So the bacteria is present in the pharynx of rodents, mostly rats, and kaya siya tinawag na rat bite fever is because they can transmit this bacteria to humans through bites. No, so in the rodent, the infection is endogenous, and then in the humans, it's transmitted through the bites or other contact. They can also be ingested, so they can be transmitted via the milk or milk-borne, and the disease is called Haver. The other name of the disease is called Haverhill fever. The lesions that are associated with this bacterial infection would be inflammatory, purulent, and necrotic. Then the individual can suffer bronchopneumonia, cervical lymphadenitis, septicemic infections, such as polyarthritis and synovitis. In humans, what it looks like is a fever, rashes, localization in the joints, lymph nodes, lungs, heart, and valves. In short, it is multisystemic. In children, it may look like this, no? So the rashes that is mentioned here, they can appear as pinpoint uh, hemorrhage, no? Near the site of the bite. No? For the diagnosis, treatment, and control, the bacteria needs to be demonstrated. So it needs to be isolated in the laboratory. They can be identified morphologically and through biochemical tests or immunofluorescence. Since it's a facultative anaerobe, a thioglycolate broth can be used or blood agar in a moist chamber. So the treatment is fairly direct or straightforward. So the antibiotics recommended are penicillin and tetracycline, and yung prevention is to avoid direct contact with um, the rodents. No, okay. So that's it for your streptobacillus. Now we are going to Francisella. Okay. So for Francisella, this became an important pathogen, mostly because so during the early 2000s, there were some terrorist threats where they were using some biological weapons, no? And this bacteria was one of the things that was well studied during that time. Um, and the reason for it is because the bacteria has a very low infectious dose, no? Um, so this is an important pathogen in humans. It's the causative agent of tularemia. So the disease is called tularemia or rabbit fever. So the infectious dose is very low. So what does infectious dose mean? Can anybody tell me kung ano yung meaning ng infectious dose in the chat? The amount of substance needed, amount required to induce disease, right? So that means that um, so the unit of measure for infectious dose is CFU. Does anyone know what CFU means? Okay, good. So yung colony forming units, right? So meaning that, pero 'di ba sa ano natin, sa lab natin, when we spread the bacteria, eventually the bacteria will become a colony, right? So it means like one bacterial cell is maybe considered as one colony forming unit, right? And when we think about it, your each bacteria, no, yung each bacterial cell, that's a one CFU. So in this case, if it has a low infectious dose, no, this simply means that um, it only requires very few bacterial cells for it to cause disease, right? So para ma-infect ka and to cause disease. Very low numbers lang yung kailangan. So, um, what does that mean for the bacteria? Kung mababa yung infectious dose niya, what does it mean? Mas deadly ba siya or hindi? Kung mababa lang yung infectious dose niya, is it more deadly or is it less deadly? More deadly. Yes, correct. Right. So, in this case, if we look at the numbers, no, so uh, in general, it's less than 10 to the third CFU, and then uh, a specific type, which is type A, has less than 10 CFU infectious dose. So that just means that 10 bacterial cells or less, then you can be infected with this disease and it can cause, you can be infected with this bacteria and cause disease, no? Another thing is that it can be uh, fatal, no? It can lead to fatal infection. So, occasionally it infects domestic animals, sheep, horses, swine, and carnivores. Um, do you know any other bacteria that has a very low infectious dose? Or siguro hulaan na lang natin. No? So for example, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, si TB, no? Narinig nyo na siguro yung TB. Can you guess the infectious dose of TB? Just give me a number sa chat. Try to guess the infectious dose of TB. Okay, so somebody said 100, then some would say 5, no? So, okay, those are all good guesses kasi the infectious dose is less than 10. Yeah. So, may mga nakakuha naman. So, it's less than 10. So, that means that pag ma-expose ka lang, no, to less than 10 bacterial cells of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, you may become infected, right? So, isa din yon um, na bacteria na may low infectious dose. So, you want to think about some of those bacterial diseases na ano kaya infectious dose nito, no? So, kasi that also tells you the severity of the transmission, no? Kung yung transmissibility niya. And then it also tells you how grave, no, the disease is. Kasi kung konti lang yung kailangan na bacteria to infect, then um ibig sabihin mas transmissible siya, mas dangerous siya, no? So, mas lethal po ba pag less infectious? Di ba parang salungat yun? Di ba? So, kung hindi siya masyado infectious, ibig sabihin hindi siya lethal, no? Um, okay, let's think about can you guess the infectious dose of Salmonella? Guess lang. Salmonella. Di ba? Parati sinasabi, don't eat raw eggs kasi you'll get salmonella. Ayan. So, the infectious dose of salmonella is greater than 10,000 bacterial cells, no? So that means that it requires more bacterial cells for you to get sick. No? So yeah, it's infectious, pero the bacteria needs more numbers or higher numbers for it to become uh or for the host to develop disease. Okay? So malinaw ba yung concept ng infectious dose? Yes or no? Does that give you an idea kung bakit important yung infectious dose? Or do you have any questions with regards to infectious dose? Okay. So, ganun din yung E. coli, no? So, si E. coli, mataas yung infectious dose niya. Ibig sabihin, it requires more numbers or higher numbers of the bacteria. It also means that the bacteria needs to multiply, no? It needs time to multiply and grow in the host before it will cause disease, no? Kaya meron din tayong tinatawag na incubation period, right? Kasi kailangan nung bacteria mag-develop muna into a certain number. Kailangan niya mag-grow and then you will see the symptoms, right? Okay. So yun yung feature, yun yung isang important feature ng Francisella. Okay. And then let's go to some other characteristics. Yung growth characteristic niya, it's a fastidious aerobe. So this means that even though it's aerobic, even though it can grow in normal environmental conditions, normal oxygen levels, it's still considered as a fastidious organism. Then it requires supplement in the agar, which is your glucose and cysteine. No? So this is sugar, tapos this one is an amino acid. Then the incubation is about 2 to 4 days, and uh, it looks grayish, viscous, oxidase and negative colonies, no? About 1 to 4 millimeters in diameter. Then it utilizes carbohydrates. So you can perform the carbohydrate fermentation test. Then you have the citrulline uridase activity. This one is used for differentiation of the different biotypes. No, so you have biotype A and B. Remember, yung biotype A, siya yung mas mababa yung infectious dose. So you need to identify kung ano yung biotype niya. And we mentioned that this causes rabbit fever. So the Francisella tularensis, this species, the reservoir is infected lagomorphs, no? So mostly the rabbits, they are type A, infected with type A, and then your rodents, they are infected with type B. So the bacteria can survive in cold temperature, in soil, water, or in animal tissues. And mostly this is found in the northern areas, no, of the world. For the pathogenesis, the bacteria, it infects the mucous membranes. No, so if there is uh, a break in the skin, no, such as with an arthropod bite, the bacteria can penetrate and invade the neighboring tissues. Then the host will develop a local ulcerative inflammatory lesion. Then the macrophages, they may be present in the skin or pwedeng due to inflammation, they will infiltrate the area of the bite. Then the bacteria will become endocytosed within the macrophage. No? So um, these bacteria, they grow within the phagosomes of the macrophages. Um, One particular defense mechanism of your Francisella tularensis is that it inhibits phagosome lysosome fusion. So what does this mean? No? So pagka merong lysosome, ano ba yung function ng lysosome? Okay, sa chat na tayo. What's the function of your lysosome? From the word itself, di ba? Pagka may na-phagocytose yung pagka may na-phagocytose yung bacteria, ay yung macrophage, nandun siya sa loob ng phagosome. And then, the lysosome, it will fuse with the phagosome. Ayan, si Joanna. Thank you. It carries lysozyme, which kills the bacteria. Right. So, the lysozyme, it's an enzyme. So, its job is to eliminate whatever is inside the phagosome, right? So, what happens is there will be a fusion between the phagosome and lysosome for that to happen. But in the case of this bacteria, its defense mechanism is to inhibit this fusion. No? So walang lysosome uh, na magre-release ng lysozyme. So hindi ma-eliminate yung nandun sa loob ng phagosome. No? So that's one defense mechanism of this bacteria. Pero hindi lang siya yung gumagamit nun, okay? Just remember that a lot of intracellular bacteria, this is one of their survival skills, no? So they will prevent the lysosome fusion so that they can multiply inside of the cell, lalo na yung macrophage. So si Francisella tularensis, that's what it does. There are other bacteria that does this, okay? So the bacteria can spread in lymph nodes and systemically. So earlier we saw some of the diseases that this causes, no? So pwede siyang magpunta sa mga iba't ibang organs. And it will produce necrotic foci. Okay, so let's take a look at the pathogenesis of this bacteria. So, kanina sabi natin that the bacteria will go into the macrophage, right? So, it will be internalized by the macrophage. So that pocket wherein it will survive, no? This is called the phagosome. And instead of fusing with the lysosome, uh, magsasurvive yung bacteria inside of the phagosome, right? So this is what it looks like. So nandun lang siya dun sa isang pocket na yon, no? And then it will disintegrate the phagosomal membrane. So if you think about it, the phagosomal membrane is basically the cell membrane of the cell, 'di ba? Kasi pagka itong part na to na nag create na nung phagosome, no? This lining is basically the cell membrane. So yung phagosomal membrane, the bacteria will be able to disintegrate this, and then it will be present in the cytoplasm. So the bacteria will multiply within the cytoplasm, and eventually it will kill the cell, no? So it will induce apoptosis. So release siya. It will be released outside or externalized outside of the cell when it becomes lysed, no? So yung intracellular survival of this bacteria is summarized in this figure. There are some virulence factors that are associated with this mechanism, no? So, yung FPI gene, this is the um, key virulence factor of your Francisella. So, because of this virulence factor, it will be able to survive within the macrophage. Okay. So these are some of the lesions. So yung necrotic foci, no? Local necrotic foci. This is in a human infected with your Francisella tularensis. Some of the immunological aspects, there is major cell-mediated immunity after recovery. So when we say cell-mediated immunity, this means that your lymphocytes, they are able to recognize the bacteria, and then they will mount an immune response to this bacteria. Did you know that your immune response has the ability to remember pathogens that it has already encountered? So yun yung tinatawag na memory cells, 'di ba? Meron tayong memory cells. And so ayan, no. If the individual survives the infection, then they will uh, produce this cell-mediated immunity. And then in endemic areas, animals carry the antibody. Um, uh, then there's supposedly live attenuated vaccines in humans, but it is not routinely provided. I guess if there is a threat, then this may be provided. Siguro if you're working in a Francisella tularensis lab doing research, you may have to have that. For the lab diagnosis, treatment, and control, uh, first you have to demonstrate the organism. So even though fastidious siya, pwede naman siya mag-grow sa uh, agar. So here we see a typical the colonies of the bacteria, grayish or nakalagay white, no, in convex. Um, it can also be inoculated in mice and pigs. And if we measure the antibodies present using serum tube agglutination, uh, then a ratio of 1 is to greater than 80 is evidence of infection. Um, this bacteria will produce H2S, no? So this is a DSI, triple sugar iron slant, or the carbohydrate fermentation test, I guess. Um, and it will produce the H2S. For the treatment, antibiotics can be used. So streptomycin is preferred in humans, and tetracycline is considered to be effective in animals. Now, fluoroquinolones can also be used to remember yung or hindi pa kayo nag-pharma, pero fluoroquinolones can target the DNA of the bacteria. And so this will stop the replication of the bacteria. You should limit tick exposure and limit contact with contaminated feed and water. So mostly this is in areas na endemic yung bacteria. Okay, so far that is it for strep and Francisella. Do you have any questions? So I noticed that in the lecture exam, some of you were, I don't know, kung hindi nyo nasagot yung essay question um, or ang mali, I don't know. So the question was, or the instruction was to illustrate and or draw. So siguro in the next exam, no, try to familiarize yourself with diagrams like this one, um, so that you can answer the essay questions. Okay. The points for the essay, I think I'll be giving 10 points for the essay. Yeah. Okay. May results na ba? Kakakuha ko lang nung exam kahapon. So, if there's like 200 students that I have to check the essays, then I think kaya ko ba yun ng isang araw? Hindi ko kaya. No? So, no. If is the lab building going to be locked? We just want to prevent yung kung merong lalabas na students no and yung interaction dun sa mga nandun pa or pag nasa labas kayo kasi parang I don't know, magkaroon ng leak. Um, kung kailangan yung pumasok, papapasukin naman kayo eh. Ah, wag na lang kayo gumawa ng mga kalokohan, okay? Or cheating, please. Hello, Doc. Ask ko lang kung mag-upload ng pre or post lab or correct results. I already did. All the materials for the lab are in the, ano, are in the PowerPoint. Hindi mo nakuha or hindi mo nakita yung results. Nandun yung results sa PowerPoint. Okay lang ba na may printed reviewer? Okay lang. Basta itatago pagka, ah, ano na, time mo na for exam. Essay part was required po na may drawing. Nakalagay kasi illustrate. Walang PowerPoint. Rodo and Coraine, walang PowerPoint ng exercise. Hmm, okay. I'll check it. Sige, I'll upload the PowerPoint dito. Hmm, okay, so good luck sa exam. And yan, if you have other questions, I'll keep the Zoom open. If you don't have any questions, you can go. But anyway, nag-discuss naman ako sa class, 'di ba? So, you should know that or you should have that. Okay, meron dito. Colorblind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand. I'll try not to to have something na ganon, no? That will ano ba yung color blindness mo? Vito. Sorry, na-mention ko yung name mo. Kasi red, green. Okay, sige. I have many students na may ganyan. They can't distinguish red, green, or ano ba yun? Ano ba yung ibang color blindness?